correct? All right, so 29 said sketch angle B on a paper and construct a congruent one, and then they want the angle bisector. All right, so this, you need this construction for, I should have used for parallels, you need this, yes, and for adding angles. Let's get a compass. All right, where did it go? It's up at the top, and I bet there's two. All right, so I've got my compass, and the question to start is, where do I put my compass point? Harper? I put the compass point on the vertex of the angle. So I put the compass point on the vertex. What am I going to do after I get it on the vertex? Eric? Draw an arc that intersects both sides. Now, once I get that arc drawn, what am I going to do next? Tommy? Where am I going to put that compass point? Well, not, we got to go down here. Where am I going to put it down here? Yes. Then we'll do what you had to say. All right, I lost my ink. How can I lose the ink? Really? All right, there we go. All right, from here, what do I have to do? Kayla E. Pardon? Okay, I did that. So now I got two arcs. Now what do I have to do? Where will I put my compass point? Here? Here? Is that no or yes? Now where should I put it? We have to measure this opening. So if I put my compass point here, where will my pencil point need to be? So I've got to adjust this so that it is on that point of intersection. Then where will I move this compass point? On the second arc I made, now I could have measured this way, correct? And where on this second arc will it be? Yes. So now when we go down here, then we make an... All right, once I get this accomplished, what am I going to do? Carlin? No, this is just to make the angle. Do I need my compass anymore? No. So I'm ready to do what? Right. So I start here, and where do I go? Through that intersection. All right, part B said, how do you do an angle bisector? That's not going to work. So we're going to bisect the angle that is dotted. So what's my first step in doing an angle bisector? Jennifer? So I have to take my compass. I have to put the compass point on the, and then I'm going to make an arc. Oh, goodness, my ink. How can my pen run out of ink? All right. After I get this accomplished, then what am I going to have to do? Devin? Okay, so we're going to go to one point of intersection and do what? Yeah, I'm going to open it just a bit to get it out. Let me see. All right, so I'm going to draw another arc. Okay, and once I get that arc drawn, what's next? Becky? We intersected it for two places for a reason. So we're going to come back up here. I'm going to flip it. So now I'm going to put my compass point here, not changing this, and do a what? Another arc. All right, once I get that done, then what do I have to do? Travis? Right, so how do I finish it off? Straight edge from, through. Okay, that's not going to be good enough because I want you to mark your diagram. How do we mark it, Kayla? Shipley. What did we just produce? So what? Right, we have to put the markings to show that we have two congruent angles. All right, next question. On chapter 1 part. Okay, what's the next set of pages? (209). All right, so on 209, any questions? Caitlin. 32, 209, 32. It says construct a rectangle with sides A and 2B. All right, so we're going to start with a segment. Oh, and I need an A. Oh, let me get a better A. I need an A and a B. We want 2B, right? So this is going to be my A, and this is going to be my B. So I'm going to make one point here. How do I make sure that I have a segment that's length A? So I want to duplicate a segment. So how am I going to duplicate a segment, Amanda? Wait a minute, I got to find a compass. There we go. Ooh, what did I just do? I opened Outlook. Heaven only knows how I managed to do that. All right, so I'm going to put my compass point where? All right, hold on. I got to get this open. Okay, well, I want A, the long one. Otherwise, I'm going to be too high. So I put it on one end point and on the other end point. Is this too big for my compass? Almost. All right, then what do I do with this? So I'm going to put it down here, and, all right, so what this is this is the end point of my segment. So here, this is A. Now, what do you know about a rectangle? Let's see. We haven't talked about rectangles this year. What do you know about a rectangle, Caitlin?
It has two sides, have four sides.
So we got opposite sides equal, and what's special about the angles?
Two of them are equal.
Okay, what degrees?
Right angles.
Right angles. Right angles means perpendicular lines. Karen, we need to make a perpendicular line at this point. When the point's on the line, where do we begin? Where do I put my compass point? On the point. And then what will I do? Draw an arc, and then what will I do? I'm going to draw an arc on the other side. All right, once I get these, now we drew these arcs for a reason. Once I get these two arcs, Nick, what am I going to do? Where do I put my compass? Nick? So I made these two arcs for a reason. Okay, so I'm going to put one here, my compass point there, and make a arc, and then what are we going to do?
Put it on the other arc, right next to that one. Make another arc.
And it should intersect this one, correct? Okay, so now once I do this, how do I get my perpendicular from there? Brittany in? Okay, so now how long is this line supposed to, if this side is A, how long does my line need to be coming this way? Travis? If this segment is A, and I want one side A and one side 2B, how long does this side have to be? Okay, one segment we want A, one side we want 2Bs. So my other A segment has to be up here. So what does this have to be? And they wanted two of those. So how am I going to duplicate this segment? Where would I put my compass point? Tommy? I need to duplicate the segment, just like I duplicated A. What am I going to do? At the end point of B, and then what will I put my pencil point? So I need it here. So now I'm going to take my compass, I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to come down here and put my compass point here. How many of these B's do we need? 2. So now that's one of them. How do I get the next one? Okay, and, oh, I just messed it up. Okay, hold on. Let me open it up again to the right point. Okay, so now I'm going to move this up here and, okay, so what this is this is another vertex of my rectangle. What do we need? What kind of line do we need over here on this segment? Let's see. Leslie? What kind of line do I need here? If it's going to be a rectangle. What kind of angles will be formed for a rectangle?
They're straight, right?
They have to be right. So you need a perpendicular here. Where do I put my compass point? We put it on the point and do what? And then what am I going to do?
And then you flip it over
And
and make another arc.
make another arc. All right. I made those arcs for reasons. So now what am I going to have to do, MJ? I'm going to put my compass here. I'm going to open it a little bit bigger. I'm going to rotate it up. Oh, I want it bigger. Oh, it's too close to the other ones. So I'm going to make an arc, and then what? I'm going to go to the other side and make another arc. All right, once I get those 2 arcs made, what am I going to do from there? Jeff?
Draw a line to the intersections.
So from here up here, and I'm a little bit off, so let me shift it. All right, there. All right, so how long does this segment that we just drew need to be? Karen? How long does this segment need to be? This one is 2 B's. This one is a single A. So how long does this have to be? Pardon? 2 B's. So how do I start duplicating the B's? What do I have to do with my compass? I have to measure the segment by putting compass point on one point and the pencil point on the other, and then where will I put my compass point? Right. So I think maybe I'll move it and then I'll rotate it. All right. So once I get down here, I make an, that is 1B. Now what do I do? And make another B. All right. What do you think we're going to connect to finish our rectangle? McKenna? Up here, correct? There's our rectangle. That is 1A by 2B, and it is, oh, if we're going to mark it, then we need to mark our right angles. And anything else we need to mark? That is congruent to that, and this segment is congruent to that segment. Next question. We're on 209. Yes. 30. 30 said, draw a line M and point Q not on M and construct a perpendicular. So what we've just done twice is the perpendicular at a point on a line. So now what we want to do is we want to do a perpendicular where we have a point not on the line. So let's label the diagram the way they had us label it. They said draw line M. So there's my line M and my point Q, and it is not on M. So now I'm going to grab my compass. Where do I put my compass point to begin on this perpendicular, Nick? On Q. We always start on the point if we're given a point. So let me rotate back up. There we go. All right, so here's my Q. My compass point is on Q. Once I do that, what do I have to be sure of? Or, Karen, how do I know how to open my compass for this construction? Is this acceptable? When I draw an arc, what has to happen? I have to intersect this line, and there's no way that I will intersect that line. So remember, on this one, we have to open our compass so it goes where? Below, on the other side. So, oh, I don't need that. I'll delete that. I'm going to get rid of this arc. I'm going to try to extend our page. All right, so now we're going to make, and I call this the happy one. This is the happy construction. We got half of a smile. We got a smile. All right, so from here, Devin, what am I going to do with my compass? Go to the endpoint of the point of intersection and, yeah, we're going to make another arc. And then after I do that arc, what am I going to do? Kayla, S? Same thing on the other side. So I'm going to move my compass point over here. And I do another one. All right, once I get those two arcs to intersect, Karen, I think you have a homework class. What am I going to do? From Q, right. And now I have to mark my diagram. How do I mark it to show perpendicular, Jeff?
Right angle,
Yes, how do I show a right angle?
little square.
Right. Put this little box there. Other questions? What was the next page? Because I think there's a next page. 342? Okay, what questions on 342? Becky? 8? All right, let me see if I can draw this picture. Now, one of the objectives that I left off, so you might want to write this down, is you have to know, bless you, that points on a perpendicular bisector are equidistant from the endpoints of the segment. And vice versa. You've got, I think, 2 questions that relate to this on your test. So we've got a segment, it looks something like this, and I think we do this again, kind of like that, but then this one's extended, until we have this. Lots of stuff going on in our picture. We've got 2 hash marks here. We've got 1 there and 1 here. We've got some boxes going on. And I think that is it. We are told that this is right here 3y. We are told that this segment, I think, is 5y minus 22. We are told that this angle is 7x minus 2 right there. And in the directions, they tell us that that angle is 50. So this is A, B, C, D, E. So problem 8 says, find the measure of angle BED. So BED is here. Now this is something you learned in middle school. What's the sum of the angles of a triangle? $180. Okay, so if this is 50, what does that box mean? What does this box mean? 90. So how am I going to find the angle that was requested if I have a 90-degree angle and I have a 50-degree angle? All right. This goes to Sydney. You got homework pass. How do we find that? Becky said the angles of a triangle add to 180. So 180 minus 130, you got 130 by adding those. Isn't that 140? You got those by adding those, so what is this angle? 40 degrees. All right, any other questions on this page? Okay, so let's talk about the perpendicular bisector. How do we know that BD is a perpendicular bisector? Right angle, two congruent segments. So what does it mean for B to be equidistant from the endpoints of E and C? This is 11. What does that mean? That they are equal. BE must equal BC. So if you subtract 5y, you get negative 2y. So what is your y? Positive 11. So now they want BC. How do you get BC from here? What are you going to do? I'll go to somebody. How do we find BC once we get 11, Travis? Y is 11. This is BC. Exactly. So you're going to say 5 times 11 minus 22 is 55 minus 22, which is 33. What if they ask for BC? Is that possible? Oh my gosh, they did that. Oh, we just did. Wait a minute, that's BC. What did they ask for BE number 12? How do we get BE now? So it's going to be 3 times 11 or 33. Oh my gosh, they're equal. Should they have been equal? Yes, they should have been equal. That was the perpendicular bisector theorem. Any other questions? All right, I want you to get out a sheet of paper. Oh, I'm going to keep doing it. Get out a sheet of paper. And I had we'll start here. All right, I need each person to take a pair of scissors. Pass that back. Pass that back to be passed back. Everybody gets a pair of scissors. Would you pass that all the way over to Bree? Thank you. Oh my goodness. Oh, mine is basket. Okay, that goes over to Becky. Two, three. Pick up the mess later. All right. So I need you to, so you all have a pair of scissors. So you're going to take your piece of paper and you're going to fold it. We're going to do a foldable. You're going to fold it so you've got a little bit of writing down here. Okay, you need a little bit of writing down here. And then you're going to take a pair of scissors and you're going to take the front flap and you're going to cut so it's in half. See, it's in half. And then you're going to cut again so each half is in a quarter. Okay? So you cut the upper flap in half, Then you cut it so that it is in a quarter. Does she need the scissors? Sydney, are your scissors working? Okay. So today it's all about recognizing angles. This is probably one of my favorite parts of geometry. All right, so we're going to talk, this is section 3.1. Transversal is a line that intersects two or more coplanar lines in different points. Let me try to break this down. Coplanar means they're in the same plane. In other words, these two lines, G and H, fit on a flat sheet of paper. Okay? Transversal is P. If you notice that P intersects those lines, but it has to be at different points. And how many angles are formed? 8. So these angles are named different things, all right? So that's what we want to talk about. So the first thing we're going to talk about are corresponding angles, all right? Corresponding angles are in corresponding positions. If we look at angle 8, it is to the left and above. What angle's to the left and above on H? 2. So that means that angle 8, now let's see how I trace its sides. Do you see that? I traced 8. And if I trace 2, those are corresponding. What letter do they make? What is that letter if it's rotated? F. All right, so on the front of one flap, I want you to write corresponding angles. And I want you to draw a diagram on the inside. And the letters they form when the diagrams get complicated is going to make it easy. So on the inside of your flap, I want you to draw the diagram, and I want you to label the angles, and I want you to kind of form the F, corresponding angles. When sides are traced, form the letter F. So 8 was to the left and above. Down here, 2 is to the left and above. Yeah, so you can see the F. Okay, if we look at 6, six is to the right and below. Who's to the right and below on H? 1. So if I were to trace the sides of 1, and I were to trace the sides of 6, oh my gosh, what letters formed again? An F. All right. So if I choose 7, Sydney, 7 is to the right and above. What corresponds to 7? 4, exactly. There's 7, there's 4. Those are corresponding. There is one more pair of corresponding angles that we have not mentioned. And let's see, Tommy, if I look at 5, 5 is where? It's to the left and below. What's to the left and below on H? 3. Those are corresponding. If you were to trace 5 and you were to trace 3, it's a backwards F, but you could flip it, and it would be the letter F. All right. Alternate interior. Alternate means, let's see, how do we want to class? Alternate means opposite maybe, or, yeah. Interior means inside. So when we talk about inside, we're talking about in between these lines. Alternate means on alternate or different. Different might be better. So we want angles that are inside in between the parallel lines, but are on different sides of the transversal. Alternate interior angles. 5 is, oh yes, on the next flap on the outside right, alternate interior. And you can guess you're going to have to draw this picture on all 4 flaps on the inside. Alternate interior. Different. Different and inside. So we want angles that are on different sides of the transversal, but in between the 2 parallel lines, or these 2 lines are not parallel. So I just traced 5. All right, so I need an angle that is on the other side. So 5 is on the left, which means I need one on the right, and I need them in between. Now, we know 5 and 6 are linear pair. They're not alternate interior. So who does that make it have to be? 4. So what letter did I just form when I traced it? Z. Alternate interior angles form the letter Z when sides are traced. Okay, interior is a key word there. All right, unlike corresponding, there is only one other pair of alternate interior angles. Eric, are you up for it? What's the other pair? Okay, they have to be in between the parallels. 7's outside. 2 is correct. Exactly. And if I trace the sides of 2, and then I go up to 6, is there another Z? So hopefully you wrote angle 5 and angle 4, and then we've got angle 6 and angle 2, and they form a Z. Okay, your next flap. On the outside, we are going to write same side interior. That means you have to be on the same side of the transversal. Interior again means in between. So angle 5 and angle 2 are same side interior. So you need your picture on the inside of your flap. And we're going to trace the sides of 5. There's one side and there's the other side. And the sides of 2, there's one side, there's the other side. Oh my goodness, what letter did they make? Okay, so same side interior angles form the letter C. Did anybody else see another letter? Or U, whatever, however you want to see it. Okay? They must be on the same side of the transversal, but interior means inside the parallel lines. There is only one other pair. Jennifer? Exactly. So if I were to trace 6 and I were to trace 4, then we are going to have the other pair, which is angle 6 and angle 4. Those are same side interior. Okay, on your last flap, on the outside, we are going to put alternate, but now it's going to be exterior. Alternate exterior angles. Alternate, again, means different. Now, what do you think exterior means? Pardon? Outside, exactly, the parallel lines. So 8 and 1. Angles 8 and angle 1 are alternate exterior. They're on different sides of the transversal, and they are outside the parallel lines. Now, there is no letter formed. Double V. How's that? 2 V's. So they form, that was good, Nick, two non-touching V's. How's that? And would you say they kind of open opposite? Open opposite directions. So there is one other pair of skew lines. Tommy? Skew lines. There's one other pair of alternate exterior angles. What would they be? 7? Yes. And 3, exactly. So this is angle 7 and angle 3, are alternate exterior angles. So now you might want another sheet of paper. Some of you have a sheet protector to keep your foldable in. But we're going to go back to the beginning of these notes. Parallel lines are coplanar, meaning they're in the same plane that never intersect. And the good news is you already know how to mark them, because we did that on our parallel lines. This is how we say parallel. Oh, I've got 2 minutes. This is how we mark parallel. Now, skew lines are non-coplanar, that do not intersect. So SK is parallel to DF. But SK and SK is here, AJ are skew. You see, DF and SK are on the same plane. They're on the top of the box. But SK and AJ, you cannot put a flat sheet of paper or a flat sheet of cardboard and contain both. If we want to talk about DJ and FJ, they're parallel. If you notice, they're both on the back of the box. But DJ is skew. DJ is skew with, let's say, HJ or HG. Pardon? Did I do that wrong? DJ and FG. Thank you. DJ and FG. Those are skew. Parallel planes are planes that never intersect. This is good review for your test. To name a plane, we use 3 letters. DSK is the top of the box. It will be parallel with the bottom of the box using any 3 letters, JGH. The left side of the box, SDJ, is parallel to the right side of the box, which is FGH. Your homework is a review worksheet. It is online. I need your homework put on this table as you exit. Need your homework on the table as you exit.
I don't understand history.
I'm here tomorrow after school and before school. Yes, because otherwise you won't get a 0. And you didn't come in before school for an extra day. Okay. So how did you record?